Here's this little potato, and this is what if Naruto had a lightsaber, part 4. So yeah, wait, yeah, part 4. So let me do a recap on what happened last time. Naruto, with of course bringing back what's called Team 14 back to the village, from he was a sort of retriever and all that blah blah blah. Helper and all that. Of course, this is where Naruto, he went to go do more C-rank missions. His C-rank mission was to go to the land of snow to help Kyoki become the Snow Daimyo. Now, of course, he done that. He defeated Tabato and others. With that, Naruto actually was going to do more C-rank missions and all that. And of course, until Hiruzen kind of told him about the tuning exams, Naruto said, sure, why not? He'll go into tuning exams. He goes to do tuning exams. He meets Rock Lee, but just almost kills Rock Lee, but he doesn't do it because he doesn't want to have a reason or a complaint from Hiruzen. So with that happening, he just didn't kill Rock Lee. But of course, he did kind of just, what's it called? Kill Kabuto, because Kabuto was about to read on his, like, what to call, how his abilities are working, blah, blah, blah. And of course, he did kill him. And of course, for Kabuto's two teammates, they got, kicked out by tuning instructors. Ibiki didn't do anything to Naruto because he knows about Naruto's strength and all that. So yeah, this is where, Shiroi, Samuid, and even Sayana right now just looking at Naruto when he did that. But yeah, of course after that, it was the Death Force. Naruto went in by himself. He had the Heaven Scroll. He fought against Orochimaru and actually killed him. Took the head of Orochimaru and also burned the body. He also, fought against 3 Jedis that were from, the Leaf Village, actually called Team 20. Naruto found out that there was another Jedi, one more left, and he can kill him. And, of course, this is where Naruto, after that, he gets to the tower, tower. He meets Gaara, and, of course, his eyes goes red and does scare the shit out of Gaara. And actually scaring the shit out of Gaara, making Gaara fall asleep. After that, Shikaku is not gonna take over Gaara's body because he's scared of Naruto. Because both Naruto and Gaara had, Naruto forced a connection into Gaara's mind and all that, making Kurama meet his little brother, which Shikaku was scared. So yeah, this is where we go into when Naruto's into the tower. Naruto has done nothing but just meditate and use his anger and force, like the anger. Because the Sith usually use their emotions like anger, hatred, pain, and all that to get stronger. And that's what Naruto's doing. So yeah, with that happening, Naruto does that for 5 days and he trained. So yeah, of course, Shiroi, Samuid, and even Sayana got there. Sayana got there in the first day. It's just like the night and all that. Shiroi, Samuid gets there like the second day, and a bunch of other people get there like the fourth, third, and even 5th day. This is where Naruto, he wakes up, gets ready because it's now the final training exam. Well, not final training exam, just the preliminary rounds. This is where, Hiruzen says, okay, since there's a lot of people, if you kind of pass, we will have to have a preliminary rounds before the finals. So, let's begin in the preliminary rounds. So, of course, it's Kabuto's dad. That's not happening. But yeah. Also, Uncle's there just to watch. Now, Uncle doesn't have, what's called any students, but it's just there to watch. So, of course, this is where, we go into the fight. Sasuke versus Kiva. Now, Kiva in this one, he still, kind of gets just trashed on by Sasuke, even though I both hate him. But yeah, with that happening, Sasuke just easily destroys Kiva because even though Sasuke does not have a Sharingan, he still is able to kick the shit out of, well, Kiva. So yeah, with that happening, next match it is, well, what's it called? Two of the Ru Ambus, what's it called? Sai and the other person that was on Team 7 versus each other. Sai managed to win. But yeah. Now, of course, this is where, well, Ino goes against, well, Sayana. And Sayana really just whoops Ino. Like, she freezes Ino in place and then punches her in the face, knocking her out. So Ino's knocked out. Shikamaru is actually going against, well, what's it called? What is his name? The guy with white hair and dark skin. He's also lazy. And they're both just looking at each other. The other guy just says, "This is such boring. I don't want to do this. I just want to sleep." Shikamaru just says, "This is such a drag." Of course, it's where, well, what's it called? Killer B is the sensei, so of course he's kind of rapping, saying, "Go! You can do it! Yo, yo, yo!" And of course, this is where, so Killer B says, "Oh, Moe, you can do this! Yo, yo, yo!" And starts rapping all that. And of course, Killer Bee's team kind of cringes and all that. But this is where Asuma says, "Shikamaru, you gotta try." And of course, how Moe and Shikamaru are like, "This is such a drag." They didn't say the same words, but of course, this is where, well, they don't actually try. Instead, well, Shikamaru, he just says, "This is so annoying. Fine, I'll try." So, well, Moe kind of uses his sword, and then Shikamaru kind of just waiting until Moe comes towards him. This is where Moe says, "Aren't you going to make the first move?" Shikamaru says, "It's too much of a drag, so I'm thinking of just sitting here." This is where Moe rushes at Shikamaru. Now, he doesn't know what Shikamaru's last name is, so he just charges at what's called Shikamaru, just trying to finish this up so he can go to sleep, until he gets shadow paralysis. This is where he sees it, and that's where, well, Shikamaru says, "Ah, you're falling into my trap, but still such a drag, but I need you to give up." And so Moe says, "I give up." This is where, well, Karin and also Samui scream at Moe saying, "You moron, why the hell did you give up so easily?" "He's too strong," Moe said. And Shikamaru says, "I'm not even that strong, but sure, thanks for the compliment." Walks away. But yeah, now next it is Karin versus Laura from Sirena's team. Now, of course, this is where Laura does go against Karin. Karin has what's it called, her sword and all that, and of course Laura, well, she uses a spear from her clan. Now, of course, this is where Laura like charges at Karin. Now Karin like blocks what's it called Laura's strike with the spear. And of course, they are not just fighting, blocking, all that. Naruto, we go into Naruto. Naruto's just meditating right now, using all the hatred and anger. To who he ever fights, he's gonna kill them. Doesn't care. He doesn't even care if he goes against Hinata. He's seen Hinata just being so damn annoying. So yeah. Now, this is where Naruto is just meditating. But yeah, we go into the fight with Laura and Karin. Now, Laura actually uses her, what's called, Keiki Genkai. I never mentioned about her Keiki Genkai, but her Keiki Genkai, it uses kind of light. So, she uses light for a second to blind what's called Karin's eyes, and then hit Karin with the back of the spear. Hitting her in the stomach, hitting Karin in the stomach, and of course, Karin is coughing up. Or Karin, or something like that, however you like to say. Not Karin, I think that's her name, Karin. But yeah, this is where she coughs up and then just gives up. She's like, "I give up. Fuck off, Laura." And of course, this is where Laura smiles and says, "Yeah, you too, bitch." But yeah, of course, next is Ino versus, well, how should I say? Ino versus, well, one of Shiroi's teammates, and Shiroi's teammates kind of uses sound to try to put Inko into sleep, but of course Inko uses acid to kind of, well, burn through what's called, well, not burn, kind of sting at what's called the sound engine that Shiroi has. Well, of course, this is where, well, they start fighting, one trying to put the others to sleep, but Inko decides to put chakra into her ears, blocking out the sound, and then punching as a cop. Well, the sound engine on the face, knocking her out. But yeah, Inko won. Next, it is Shiroi versus Samui. Shiroi uses her sword versus Samui using one of her tantos. But yeah, they start fighting. Of course, well, Shiroi actually managed to cut at Samui, and Samui lost. Which she gets mad, but then says, good, whatever. Next, it is, well, what's it called? Choji versus Sheena. Now, Sheena just drained him from chakra, and of course, he's done. Next, it is Hinata versus Nudgy. Nudgy says, you're nothing but a weakling, Hinata. Now, Hinata, she is cocky and arrogant, and of course, she says, oh, is that what I am? Then I guess you don't know anything. She then uses the, what's it called, cage bird to kind of hurt Nudgy and all that. And of course, well, the proctor says begin, and that's what she used. Of course, Nudgy's getting hurt and all that. And he's saying, I'm not giving up. It's where Naruto opened his eyes, senses the what's called, like anger force chakra that what's called, well, Nudgy has. And can see that he has a lot of potential. This is where Naruto, he says, Proctor, can we stop for a second? This is where, well, Hinata says, what? This is where Naruto walks up to Nudgy. And Nudgy says, what do you want? Can I see the, what's it called? The mark that you have on your head? A forehead? This is where Nudgy says, what about it? And this, well, not, he didn't do anything like that, no. This is where Nudgy uses all the anger and rushes at Hinata, even though with the pain. He does 120 palm strike. Of course, Hinata is now down for the count, so yeah. Naruto is very interesting. Nudgy does have what's called a Sith ability. So yeah, even though he had the cage bird activated, this is where, well, he actually managed to use the force to kind of numb the pain out of the way, and then kind of just 128 palm strike the hell out of Hinata. So yeah, Hinata's down for the count. Same thing happens in original canon. She almost died by Nudgy. And this time, Nudgy was trying to murder her. Like, straight up just kill her. Send her straight to the freaking Shadow Realm. So, yeah. Just like Demon sends Mighty to the Shadow Realm. Oh, I know some of you are not going to get it, so that's the point of me saying it like that. But whatever. This is where we go into Naruto. Naruto's interesting and says, very interesting. Now, this is where Naruto's going against a person. This person's from the grass village, and some people went against from different villages, but yeah, I only wanted to mention those people. And now Naruto's going against this grass person ninja. Now, of course, this is what Naruto says. I did remember something about like that Jedi saying that there was someone from the sides that were Jedi. I hope this is the guy so I can kill him. Now, this is where the proctor says begin, and this person decides to pull out his weapon out and uses the lightsaber to try to scare Naruto. So, of course, he pulls out the lightsaber, and it is a dark kind of, not dark green, but kind of light green. So, yeah. This is where the Jedi says, what's it called? He says, give up now, ninja. You are nothing, but you cannot defeat me. I am someone that balanced and guardian, blah, blah. Naruto's still angry and annoyed with these Jedis. He's ready to just murder and perish all the Jedis off this goddamn planet. So this is where Naruto says, Jedi. Can I say one thing? The Jedi says, what? Shut the fuck up already, you stupid prick. And this is where basically, the Jedi says, what did you say? Fine. He uses what's it called, a force push at Naruto, but that was the weakest shit. Naruto says, the fuck? What are you trying to do, force push? This is where the Jedi just realize, shit. He jumps back, realizes that the force push for him is kind of still weakened and all that, even though his sensei kind of told him not to ever use it as like a force and all that, or only if you're in desperate situations. But yeah. Now, That's where Naruto uses his own force push and pushes the Jedi further. The Jedi says, "What the? You can use the force? Damn it. What are you exactly? Another Jedi?" That's where Naruto says, "Oh, but I'm not." Naruto pulls out from his sword. He pulls out his lightsaber, and of course, it's a katana. Because, yeah, and it's red. And Naruto says, "I am a Sith Jedi." And the Jedi says, "Shit! I gotta give up now." That's where Naruto uses black and red like, "Ah!" Before the Jedi can even say anything. "Ah! Ah!" And of course, well, Naruto saying, "Ooh, shush, 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 shush. Jedi, we can't let you just keep saying words. We're fighting now." This is where, what, Shiroi, Samoid, and even Sarina right now just seeing this fight. Now, Naruto is shown to never give mercy to Jedis. So they already knows what's going to happen to the Jedi. Gaara is seeing this. Oh, I should mention about Gaara. Gaara still went against Rock Lee, but Gaara, this one actually didn't kill Rock Lee because he's not trying to fight against Naruto. So yeah. So Naruto wasn't even going to stop Gaara from actually killing Rock Lee, but yeah. But that happens, so yeah. But Gaara is actually kind of getting scared of Naruto, how he's like barbecuing this person with just lightning. Now Naruto uses the force because he stops the lightning. Uses the force to just smash him down to the ground. The Jedi goes, ah! Now Naruto uses his lightsaber, rushes at the Jedi. And the Jedi says, shit. Gets his arm cut off, the arm that had the lightsaber. And of course the Jedi screams, saying, "Ah! Son of a..." This is where Naruto says, "You're dead, Jedi." This is where the Jedi started using his force push and pushes Naruto. Naruto's getting pushed. Kind of like slowly behind, but he gets walking further. Using chakra to stick to the ground. Because right now Kurama's doing that for him. And Naruto gets closer and says, "You are dead." This is where, well, the project was about to say is, Naruto strikes the Jedi down, killing the Jedi. And of course, well, not killing the Jedi, wait. Naruto actually missed, and the Jedi says, he uses the force to grab his lightsaber. Because Naruto was just like, I thought I hurt you. And of course the Jedi did kind of get hurt. He still got a little bit of cut and all that. On his, like, what's it called? Well, torso and all that. But he says, "I'm not giving up. Because the Jedi is to protect those who are weak. You Siths are just those who are kind of bullies." Naruto says, "No, not exactly. You are basically the bullies. No one's good on both sides, you moron." And the Jedi says, "I don't believe that." So Naruto says, this is where Naruto says, I did kind of, what's it called, hear that from someone. Ooh, I remember killing this, like, older Jedi with some brown eyes, brown hair, and yeah. That's where the Jedi says, "My master?" Yeah. "Oh, it was your master?" And of course, this is where he gets angry and uses, well, his anger against Naruto. Starts fighting against Naruto. Zing, 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 zing. Naruto's dodging the attacks and even blocking them some. Now, of course, the Jedi is only using one arm, but of course, because the other one's cut off, and is striking with anger at Naruto. Naruto's seeing the anger. And of course, this is where Naruto says, "Oh, if that was just Sensei, too bad for him, he is dead." This is where Naruto uses the force to block the lightsaber from actually hitting him by only using his left hand. Now, of course, this is where the Jedi says, "Die!" This is where Naruto says, "Oh, I'm sorry about that, but I can't die." This is where Naruto, he puts his, what's it called, lightsaber towards the person's heart, but it was kind of deactivated. And this is where Naruto says, "Goodbye, Jedi." Jedi says, "No." Yeah, the Jedi got a lightsaber turned onto his heart. Jedi went. Now, of course, Hayate could not really stop this because he thought that, well, Naruto wouldn't actually kill him. He realized that, yeah, it was a stupid idea to think Naruto wouldn't kill him. Even though Naruto really just cut off his arm. But yeah, everyone is shocked. But Sayana, Samui, and also Shiroya are not that shocked. So yeah. And also, yeah. So with that happening, this is where, well, Horusen says, now we go into the preliminary rounds. Or not preliminary rounds, the final rounds. So Sasuke Uchiha is going against, well, what's it called? Oh, I should mention about what's called Tamari and Tenten. That would have went the same in original canon. So yeah, Tamari versus Shikamaru. But instead of going that way, he says Naruto Uzumaki versus Nudgy. And since Naruto doesn't have like this hatred against Nudgy, he's not gonna really care that much. But he's interested in, well, Nudgy. Now, this is where next it is Tamari versus Shikamaru, Gaara versus Sasuke, Shiroi versus Sarina, Laura versus Inko. And yeah, the teams would be so on and so on. So yeah, that's where Naruto is, well, this where, well, Horusen says everyone can leave. Now, bye. Of course, this is where Shiroi, she's like, fine, I'm gonna go train. Yeah, everyone goes train and all that with different people. And of course, Naruto goes up to Horusen before everyone leaves and all that. But one person didn't leave, and that is Sarina. She was thinking of going to train with like her clan members and all that, but instead she wants to train with Naruto. But I'll mention what she wants to train with them for what. But this is where Naruto goes to up to Horusen and says, Horusen. Horusen says, yeah, Naruto. Naruto unseals a scroll and shows about Orochimaru's head to Horusen. And Horusen says, he widens his eyes and says, Orochimaru? Naruto says Orochimaru was in the Death Forest for the Uchiha. I killed him because, well, he's a creep and a very, very creepy person. And of course, Horusen says, I would promote you to Jonin right now and right here and right now, but I feel like you won't like that because you're going to fight against a Hyuga. And you're going to try to win to show everyone about your strength. So, I guess you probably want the money from this mission. Naruto says, of course. And so Horusen says, fine, I'll give you the money if you go to my office later. Naruto nods, and of course he gives a head to, Horusen and Naruto was about to leave until, well, Sarina does kind of go up to Naruto and does ask him, can Naruto train her? Naruto says, what do you mean train you? Now, of course, Horusen, he didn't leave. He's still kind of watching this and kind of amused. Even though Naruto never shown to have emotions that much, Naruto, he thinks that this girl can change Naruto's ways. Little he knows that Naruto's never going to change his ways because he's a Sith. But yeah, now, this is where Naruto says, what do you want? Sarina says, I want you to train me in the way of a Sith. Naruto says, impossible. And this is where Sarina says, please, I want to at least learn the basics. So where Naruto says, fine, just hurry up already. I'm going to my training spot. And if you're slow, I'm gonna just leave you in the dust. This is where Sarina does go along with Naruto. And yeah, now Horusen's amused. He would have like told Naruto to go to his office for the money, yes. But he also wanted Naruto to meet his like godfather, Jiraiya. But he's now thinking that, yeah, it's better if Naruto makes a friend at least. Because he knows about Naruto not having great relationships with any of the villagers or anything like that. Or anyone at all. So that's why Naruto's always so lonely. But yeah, now, this is where Naruto, he is, well, just going to go kind of train in his favorite training spot. This is where, well, Sarina is now there with Naruto. Now, Laura is actually training with her, like, clan, and of course, Inko's also. Nayana, who's actually the leader, was wanting to train their students, but realized that they all have clans to kind of train. But yeah, now, That's where Sarina does ask about how to use the Force and all that. Naruto says it's easy, everyone can use it. And this is where Sarina tries to focus and trying to learn how to use it. Naruto tells her the basics, because everyone does have the Force. Everyone can use the Force, because everyone has it. But not everyone is also Force sensitive. So yeah. This is where Naruto is teaching her how to use the Force and how to do Force push, or even see if she can actually go into the Sith side. And of course, where Sarina is like trying to use the Force, this is where we go into a couple of days because, well, Naruto just showed her, and Sarina's actually been kind of coming along into the training spot. Now, the training spot is outside the village near the tavern, well, not even the tavern, the shack of the old man. The same place where Naruto was trained by the old man. Now, of course, since that was happening, Naruto just seeing how Sarina keeps failing and trying to use the Force and all that. But yeah, Naruto is going to help her later, but he wants to train and using his own ability. So he still got the money from what's called Hiruzen, and also met what's called Jiraiya, but he got away from Jiraiya. He got some very creepy vibes from Jiraiya. So, of course, he dipped on Jiraiya, and Jiraiya's been trying to find Naruto. But yeah, now that happened, and of course, well, Hiruzen can't really see through his crystal ball to see where Naruto and Sarina are at. But yeah, but this is where we go into the what's called fifth day of like Naruto training Sarina using the Force. Sarina has an older brother who's actually worried about Sarina because Sarina hasn't asked the clan to train her in their ways. Now, of course, this is where Sarina's father did tell what's it called her brother to actually follow Sarina and seeing where she's actually going. And of course, well, for her brother being worried and all that, knowing that, well, it could, well, not kind of being worried, but also being kind of okay. Maybe it's just her sensei training her. But yeah, this is where her brother actually follows Sarina. Sarina doesn't know about her brother or anything. She still doesn't know about Force sense or anything like that. She's still trying to learn how to do Force and all that, use it and all that. And of course, this is where she gets to the place. And of course, Naruto's already there using, well, what's called, using the Force to kind of use black and red lightning. And yeah. Now, of course, Naruto kind of has multiple set of weapons on a table for Sarina to pick out. But yeah. Now, this is where Naruto, he's kind of just there, kind of using the Force and all, the Force lightning. And of course, this is where Sarina gets there and she says, hello, Naruto. And Naruto says, hello there, Sarina. So Naruto is not that cold anymore. He kind of warm up a little bit. He's not that warm up to Sarina that much. And of course, is where Sarina says, so back to training, right? Naruto says, before we do that, I would tell you to get a weapon, but how should I say? Naruto grabs his lightsaber. Well, one of the lightsabers from the table. It's just a normal, basic Jedi lightsaber and all that. And of course, it does have the Kiva crystal and all that. It's red, and Naruto put it in there. Just because, why not? Because he pulled out Kiva crystals red and all that. And Naruto threw it at what's called a tree. Now, of course, the lightsaber turned on, and of course, it's thrown towards the tree. The tree gets cut, like, well, not cut from the bottom, but mostly cut a bunch of branches. And of course, someone jumps out. Naruto uses the Force to bring back the lightsaber. And of course, well, the person who jumped out is Sarina's brother, Saban. Saban then says, Sarina, what are you doing? Sarina says, Saban, what are you doing here? And Naruto says, what the fuck is happening? Sarina explains that Saban is her older brother and is, well, somewhat of a prodigy in the clan. Naruto says, okay, interesting. Don't care that much, but sure. This is where Sarina says, right. what's called Saban, what are you doing here? Saban says, Serena, you haven't asked us to train you in what's called the clan techniques. I didn't know you were actually dating someone. You're usually cold and do not like dating anyone. Or is it because he forced you because he's training you? Naruto ignored that and says, first of all, fuck. And of course, where Serena blushes and says, no, that's not the thing. He just says sure to train me. And yeah, I'm just training and using a ability that he has been shown to use. And well, this is where Saban says, if his sword techniques, you realize our sword techniques are kind of more superior than those of the Leaf Village. Then Serena says, why are you getting so aggressive? Saban is usually a nice person, but since Serena's next to Naruto, he's kind of getting aggressive because, well, being an older brother, you gotta be protective. For me, being an older brother for my siblings, I don't give a fuck about that. For real, but nah, I'm just kidding. But yeah, now, this is where, well, Naruto says, so, what is your clan exactly called? This is where Serena says, our clan is kind of not that big on what's called. We're cousins to the Yuki clan, yes, but not much. So Naruto nodded, and of course, well, Saban says, I'm gonna stay and watch to see if this person has any, like, funny business or anything like that. Naruto says, you can fight me to see if I'm ever actually weaker than you. If I'm weaker than you, then you can go and take your sister back to go train with the clan. And Serena says, what? Saban says, fine. And if you win, you can still take her and train her in your clan. Because I don't even think she's able to even use my abilities. Or, not abilities, the powers I'm kind of teaching her. And Serena goes, she's like saddened and all that. She like feels saddened. But Saban didn't actually notice this. Well, he kind of seen it, but he just thought that it was because, well, Naruto just doubted on Serena. So, ability to learn. So, of course, this is where Saban, he gets ready and he actually pulls out a sword. Now, a sword actually is, well, it's a, how should I say? Well, this is what Saban pulls out. He pulls out this katana that has this little hilt or whatever, and the handle being blue, and the blade, instead of being, well, metal, it's actually ice. It's not just any normal ice, but made out of a special ice. It's kind of like ice metal, so it's like a similar thing for chakra metal, but it's made out of ice metal. And instead of using like a forge or anything to heat up the metal, you actually use this ice, well, a little bit of heat to kind of melt it because, well, you need like this, well, not heat. You use like this ice, like sort of nitrogen to kind of build it and all that. But yeah, this is of course, well, Naruto says, interesting. This is where, well, Saban rushes at Naruto and trying to cut down Naruto. Naruto dodges easily the attacks, just evading them. And easily Saban noticed that Naruto is pretty skilled in dodging. Now Saban actually uses like the clan's technique. He says, ice style, well, what's called ice jutsu, ice breathe. Ice breath. And he shoots breath of ice at Naruto. Naruto uses the force to block it. The word Saban is impressive and doesn't know what exactly Naruto techniques are exactly. And Naruto, he throws a kunai at Saban, and Saban manages to block it with the sword. And actually, instead of like blocking it, the what's called kunai does get cut a little bit, and the kunai does turn to ice. And Naruto's impressive. He's like, so that's what it does. I gotta be careful. Naruto throws 3 kunai, all of them having explosion attacks, and Naruto throws another one. Now, of course, where Saban cuts those kunais down, those explosion tags kunais, and they don't explode. The last one kind of misses Saban's head, and of course Naruto smiles. Saban says, "What are you smiling?" Naruto says, "Oh, you don't need to worry about that." And Saban says, "What is that supposed to mean?" This. Naruto flying right in behind Saban, and Saban was like, "Wait a minute, that's the flying." He gets knee in the back really fast. He's like, "Fuck, that's the flying Raijin. Can he be a Senju?" And Naruto kicks him knees him into the tree. Saban like gets up and says, "That's the flying Raijin, isn't it? Are you a descendant to Senju Torama?" No, Naruto says, "No, not exactly. I just read it from the Forbidden Scroll silly when I stole it." You don't need to worry about that. Hiruzen trusts me enough to kind of have the, what's called, jutsu anyway. You can even ask him. This is where Saban says, "Jesus fucking Christ, if he has the second Hokage's flying Raijins, it's bad. It's even the first. Or not first, fourth. But this guy does remind me a little bit of the fourth Hokage. Just his hair is too long," Saban says in his head. This is where Naruto shoots black and red lightning from his hand, and this is where Saban uses his sword to block the attack. Now, of course, it's not really working against, the force lightning, because, lightsabers, some people even uses the lightsabers to kind of block out force lightning. It sometimes working if you're weak against the force lightning and give up, you do get blasted away. Saban gets blasted away back into the tree, back into the what's called tree where he kind of face plant before, and of course his back hurts, and this is where he says, "Whatever that is, he uses red and black lightning. I've never seen it." Naruto says, "Are you done?" And this is where, Saban says, "I'm just getting started." He uses his ice sword, and of course sends ice slashes at Naruto. Naruto uses his red and black lightning to attack them, and destroys these slashes before it even hit him. Of course, this is where Saban appears and says, "Die." This is where Naruto pulls out his sword, his lightsaber, and blocks the katana. This is where, Saban is right now fighting against a red lightsaber. Now, Saban doesn't know anything about the lightsabers. This is where he's fighting against Naruto, and of course, Naruto's right now easily cutting through what's called the sword. Now, not like easily cutting through it like butter and all that, but kind of melting the sword. There's just Saban jumps away and says, "What is that sword made out of?" Naruto says, "Oh, this is made out of plasma. Your sword is made out of ice, somewhat, I can guess. Plasma is hotter than fire, so I'm easily gonna cut through it and cut you down if you don't stop annoying me." This is where Saban says, "I see, a plasma sword. Never actually seen one of those." Naruto says, "You don't need to see it. And since it's kind of bright out here, it's nice, bright color out here, let me change my Kiva crystal." This is where he says, "Kiva what?" This is where Naruto changes the red, what's called Kiva crystal into a white Kiva crystal. And of course, you can't see it. This is where he says, "What the?" Naruto rushes at Saban. Saban dodges. He jumps up, and Naruto cuts the tree. This is where, Saban realized that, shit, he can't know where the lightsaber's gonna hit him. Because, the fact that, the freaking white lightsaber is basically kind of, you can't see it during the light, so yeah. Naruto rushes at where Saban is dodging, but of course gets cut a little bit and all that. And this is where Naruto actually knees Saban in the stomach, Saban into, the tree. That's where Saban says, "I give up," because, his sword did get kind of cut in half. And of course Naruto says, "Interesting, you giving up?" So Saban says, "Yes, I given up. You're strong. Too strong. I guess my sister's gonna be trained well enough." Naruto says, "That's not what the deal was about." And this is where Saban says, "But that was my deal." And Naruto says, "That is true. You never said anything about your deal. You didn't agree or disagree, I guess." And of course, what someone says, I'm gonna have to tell our father, Sarina, about this guy. And Sarina says, can't you just say it's my sensei? Nayana? And of course, Saban says, no, our father got to learn about this. Parents got to learn about this. Grandfather also got to learn about this. Sarina says, no, please don't. And of course, Saban disappears, and Naruto says, whatever the hell he wants. Whatever. Sarina, what I was actually going to explain to you is, well, you need to pick out one of the weapons that's on the table. So this is where, well, Sarina goes to up the table and sees these weapons of lightsabers. Now, not every lightsaber has to be like a sword and all that, or anything like that. Because there's other, like, what's called Jedis or Sith that actually uses a whip as a lightsaber and other things. But yeah, let me show one. So what I'm talking about like the different lightsaber weapons, like spear, sword, whatever. So it's all like laid down on, well, what's called the table and all that. And of course, Sarena's like picking through the lightsabers and all that. So what Sarina actually picks, it's a lightsaber Pycon, whatever. It's a dual lightsaber. It's the one that has like two lightsabers in each of the ends and all that. It's this one. But yeah. Also, Naruto says, oh, you picked that? He says, oh, you picked that? Interesting. Because Sarina was testing out some of the weapons and all that. There was a whip, and she's not that great at using a whip and all that. Circle lightsaber, which it just goes around her. Hidden blade lightsaber, you get the point. There's a lot of them. A sword lightsaber, and she decides to get the one where there's two lightsabers in each of the ends. Naruto says, interesting. Well then, I should give you the two Kyber crystals. I don't know if that a lightsaber actually uses two. So I'm gonna just say they do. Okay. So the lightsaber color that she's gonna get is this one. Now, Sarina actually gets a Kyber crystal. This Kyber crystal is actually different from like the other colors that she's seen. Like there was yellow, blue, red, and a bunch of like colors. But this Kyber crystal was different from the original. Naruto explained the Kyber crystals in different colors of it. And how it actually meant and all that. This is where Naruto actually thought of an idea. He did kind of go through, well, since what's called the old man did what's called have different Kyber crystals. And Naruto did mention about what's called, well, not mention, the old man mentioned about his own Kyber crystal that he usually mostly used instead of using the red lightsaber was a Kyber crystal called the Permafrost Kyber crystal. This Kyber crystal was somewhat, the color was an icy, what's called ice blue color. That any what's called contact with skin does like somewhat burn the person, but also kind of freezes their skin. But yeah, not much is known about it. But yeah, that's how it is. This is where Naruto gives, well, Sarina this Kyber crystal to put into the lightsaber, which it does power on both of them. And Sarina does actually tries to learn about this fighting skill and all that. Naruto does teach her about the fighting skill and how to use a dual-bladed, what's called, lightsaber. Now, Naruto was never very good at using different other types of weapons of the Kyber crystal, but did kind of use a hologram for her, Sarina to actually learn, and was impressive with the, what's called, hologram. And of course, Sarina just had to use memory if she was going to do this when Naruto wasn't here or anything like that. But yeah. This is where Naruto just kind of teaches her a little bit how to use the Force more into the Kyber crystal so you could actually use the what's called lightsaber way better. But yeah, that's where Naruto just starts training her and all that. And this is, well, when Sarina went back to the what's called clan district. It's only a small clan district, but when she gets into her like house and all that, her father, her mother, her brother, and even her grandfather and grandmother were just at the table looking at her. This is where Sarina says, I forgot to go get something. She turns behind and she was about to walk away until her father says, where do you think you're going, Missy? This is where Sarina says, I gotta get something for my sensei. Then this is where her father says, "What, the boy?" And this is where Sarina says, "No, no, no, not what the hell? No, my sensei's not a boy." And this is well, her father says, "You realize that your brother already told us." Oh, damn it! Glares at Saban, and Saban is just like, I didn't do anything. This is where Sarina just sits there, and of course her parents kind of teach her what to call not to start kind of dating the boy already, blah 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 or whatever. And Sabana says, "We're not dating at all." She's like screaming all that. And of course is where well they're just teaching her, well not teaching her, they're just telling her not to do anything dumb with the boy or anything like that. This is well she says, "I'm only training with him." And this is where they ask, "Why aren't you training like the clan moves or whatever?" This is where she says, "Because I wanting to know about his abilities and all that." And this is, well, her grandma already knows what she's after. And it's not about learning the different techniques of the guys, but instead just trying to see the kindness or blah blah blah. Just to see if this person's the right one for her or whatever. And of course the grandmother stays silent, but yeah. This is where when Siren is at her room, the grandmother shows up and says, "I know what you're after the boy. It's not about his like special ability or training or whatever." And this is where Siren says, I already knew you were gonna know about that, grandmother." And she says, "Remember, Siren, if you truly like this boy, it's better to see about your feelings towards him and to see if he will actually like you back. Is he just someone that doesn't have what Ka has to say? Does he knows about your feelings?" Cyrena says, "No, not exactly. I don't think he would care that much. And no, he doesn't care about my looks neither." And the grandmother says, "Huh, usually a bunch of guys from your class would have liked you already or whatever like that." And Cyrena says, "No, this boy is not from my class or anything. He graduated from another class." And her grandmother says, "That's very interesting. Very interesting. What is the boy's name?" This is where Sarina says, "Naruto Uzumaki." I think that's his name. That's where the grandmother says, "Ah, I remember the boy. Yes. I remember seeing him when he was kind of outlaw from a bunch of people. People didn't like him that much." And of course, this is where Sarina says, "What do you mean?" "If I can remember right, when me and your, when your family come into this, like, place and all that, a bunch of people did not like him at all. With that happening, no one actually liked him because of they call him demon and all that. Now, I don't know why they call him demon, but yeah. This is where what Sirena's like clan is kind of a very new clan towards the Leaf Village. They came there, they came to the Leaf Village when Naruto was like 8 years old. But yeah. Of course, this is where Simon says, "So, why are you telling me this right now?" Her grandmother says, "Well, if the boy is the one you're talking about, now I can see why he doesn't have emotions. People didn't like him and always tried to beat him up. Now, I never liked how people beat up, the boy, because he didn't do anything to deserve anything. But after a while, after seeing the boy multiple times, I tried to talk to him one time, and he just didn't talk to me at all. He just ignored me and walked away. Of course, multiple people did try to attack him again, but this time Naruto did not hold anything back and, kind of pushed him away. But yeah. Now, Naruto, when he was 8 years old, did met the old man and started training with him. Naruto was learning how to use hatred at that time. So yeah. That's the word Shirina says, "Huh. I see. So that's why he's so distracted from everyone else. Or not distracted, distant from everyone else. Yeah. And I'm guessing that you're trying to open his heart again, aren't you? It's very difficult for someone that sealed his heart away when he was 8 years old, I guess so." Sayuna says, this is gonna be hard. Well, at least he's teaching me how to use what to call his abilities, called the Force. I think so. I don't know. It's something like that. This is where, well, her grandmother says, "Huh? Have you learned anything special, core or something like that?" This is where Sabrina pulls out a crystal and says, "Yeah, this is called a permanent frost crystal. A crystal which I can put in this little gadget here to kind of summon out a blade. A blade that, well, is stronger than any other blade." And this is where her grandmother says, "Then show me. Let's go to the dojo." This is where, well, Serena is going with her grandmother. Her grandmother gets, well, just a sword made out of ice and all that she actually has and all that. Because all of the clan members do have these, like, swords that are actually made out of the ice material and all that. So, yeah. And, of course, her grandmother says, "Then let's see if that sword can defeat mine." Now, this is how, what's called Serena's grandmother's sword looks like. Or, I should mention how it looks like, because I don't think I'm going to be able to find it. The handle is blue. The blade is like a frosty kind of white. It's like white. And of course, this is where Serena says, "Fine." This is where she puts a kyber crystal into the, what's it called, lightsaber. And she turns both of them on. This is where her father, her mother, her brother, and even her grandfather are watching. Her brother's impressive because, well, that's the same kind of blade that the boy used against him. But the boy uses a red one and a white one to kind of just show that, well, his blade is more superior to him. And he is way stronger than normal. So the grandmother says, "Ah, that's actually a beautiful kind of color. So, does the boy also use the same?" This is where Serena says, "No, not exactly. He doesn't use, well, a dual lightsaber. I think that's what it's called." That's where her grandmother says, "Then let's fight." Of course, they start fighting and all that. And 20 minutes later, that Irina kind of managed to kind of defeat her grandmother. Now, she could never defeat her grandmother with just the techniques alone. Well, her, like, less understanding of the techniques. But with now using the lightsaber and somewhat the Force, she actually managed to push using Force push only a little bit further away towards her grandmother. And her grandmother was impressed, pushing her away. And of course, she was interested in this boy's techniques. This is where, well, when what's called Sarina managed to defeat what's called her grandmother. This is where everyone shows up. And this is where her father says, "Serena." This is where Serena says, "Were you all watching me?" And of course they all nodded, and of course, well, her father says, "Who exactly is the boy that trained you in using that?" And this is, well, she says, "Naruto Uzumaki, but why?" This is where her father says, "Then bring him towards the clan district tomorrow after your training session with him." I don't even think he's even gonna care that much. So, of course, we go into the next day, and Naruto's over here just training again using his own lightsaber. But this time the color is different. It's a black lightsaber since Naruto always liked the color black. And it's right now just cutting down the tree. This is where Kurama says, "Do you think we can go into another cloak form, or what? I think you're strong enough to go into a cloak form." And of course, Naruto does go into the Kyuubi form because he knows Serena isn't going to be here for a couple of freaking minutes and all that. And so he goes into what's called the One Tails Cloak mode. Now, there's no limit to the One Tails Cloak mode, no more. And can actually go freely. And actually can go for just long enough point. There's no really limit time or anything like that. So, Naruto's right now using his what's called lightsaber. And of course, cutting down the tree easier and all that. And of course, the word Naruto uses the Force. And of course, the Force does get amplified that with Kyuubi Cloak, it does kind of go up and increases a lot with the All Might. It's kind of not similar to that of the All Might push, but yeah. This is where Naruto, he's just done out of the Kyuubi Cloak. And Kurama says, "At least we can master the One Tails but you gotta master 2 tails, 3 tails, 4 tails, 5 tails, 6 tails, and even 7, 8, and 9. And Naruto says, for fuck's sakes. Fine, Kurama. Then let's start training more in my physical. And Kurama says, then let's do it. Then Naruto kind of does train in physical and also in his chakra control. Because, well, they need a lot of that so he can actually go into the, what's called, different QB forms and all that of tails. So yeah, this is where, when he is just doing that, this is where Sirena, she's just training, also using the Force, also using her lightsaber, and somewhat sparring with Naruto sometimes. And of course, she noticed that Naruto's lightsaber is blackened right now, and she's just managing to kind of not be in par with Naruto, because Naruto is still stronger than her in the lightsaber combat and all that. But yeah, this is where Sirena then asks Naruto after the training session that if he minds going with her towards the clan district of hers. This is where Naruto ignores her, and this is where Sirena knows that, well, it was just worth a try. Naruto says, sure, why not? And of course, Sirena says, wait, really? Naruto says, if I see your brother again, and I feel like this was your brother's idea, I'll punch him in the face. Sirena says, great. You hate my brother, don't you? Not really hate, just annoyed that he is someone that, well, I couldn't kill exactly because it's your brother. I just want to punch him in the face. This is where Sirena says, why? So, Kurama did tell Naruto about one time that Sirena's brother, who is Saban, did actually use Ice Style one time when he was learning how to use Ice Style. And when Naruto was younger, he did kind of fall down and trip, and Naruto thought he'd just fall down and trip by nothing. Kurama says, no, that was the one time that guy used his Ice Style and accidentally froze the floor and made you slip and fall and hit your head. That's why Naruto just wanted to punch Saban straight in the fucking face. He is pissed. Because that one time, that just made his, fucking life worse, because a lot of people laugh at him, not knowing what actually happened. So, yeah. So, of course, they're going towards what's called Sirena's house, well, what's called compound. And when they get there, this is where Naruto is still in the nice strip. And, of course, this is where Sirena says, this is one of my compound. Naruto says, interesting. But where's your brother at? This is where Sirena says, he's over there walking towards us. This is where Saban says, hello there. Welcome towards the clan, Naruto. Naruto says, yeah, thank you. I'm just saying one thing. I remember what you did towards me when I was 8 years old. And guess what? I'm beating your ass right now, right here. Saban says, what do you mean? So, Saban is actually, well, the age of 16, and it's kind of older than Naruto. So yeah, it's been about 4 years, and of course Saban says, I didn't do anything to a long blonde hair kid. This is where Naruto says, my hair wasn't long at that time, it was kind of just short. But I'm still beating your ass for fucking making an ice path for me to face clamp into the fucking cement. Now this is where Saban's dad and his mother and of course grandfather and grandmother were going towards them, and of course heard this, and of course is where, well, his father, basically they have the same family and all that, Sirena's father and all that, but heard this and kind of realized that was kind of his mistake. He kind of tried to teach Saban how to use ice, how to freeze the what's called road and all that, to see people fall and kind of prank them. And yeah, this is where Saban says, oh, right, that. Hey, it's been 4 years. Wait, how the hell can you remember? You didn't see my face. Naruto says, oh, you don't need to worry about that. I'm now gonna kill you. And you're gonna die. And there was someone saying, wait, it's not my fault. This is where Naruto says, and whose fault is it? Um, um, this is where, well, Saban's father is right now sweating. And of course, this is where Sarena's mother is right now just looking at him and kind of glaring at him. Of course, even Sarena's grandmother is right now glaring at him. And the grandfather is also glaring at him. And of course, this is where they all say, you did what exactly? This is where he says, I wanted to learn, just wanted him to just like have fun. I didn't realize the kid actually, that was the kid that face blamed. It was funny at the time. But now that I think about it, Saban's gonna die. Or, I hope not. Now, of course, this is where Sarina says, wait, before Naruto, don't kill my brother. Naruto says, too late. Naruto appears with a black lightsaber towards his neck. And of course, Saban's like, holy shit. I'm so fucked. Naruto says, I would kill you, but instead, you're gonna meet my partner in crime. Good luck with that. This is where he says, what do you mean? He makes a connection into a mindscape. And you know how Kurama did to that in Naruto? He kind of used what's called Kurama as like a, what's called, I'm gonna murder you. Like he brings one of the Uchihas and another. That's what he did to Saban. Saban, he kind of sees Naruto in front of him, and then he says, what do you mean partner in crime? Also, where are we? So where Naruto says, meet the Nine Tails behind him. Kurama growls at Saban, and Saban just go, oh fuck, I'm dead, am I not? And this is Kurama says, delicious human meat. This is where Saban says, oh fuck. He pees himself, okay? So out of the what's called Mindscape, Kurama just blows Saban, and Saban just pushes away out of the Mindscape, and he pees himself. He's like, Now, of course, the color he was wearing was what's called not dark blue, was kind of light blue color, and also kind of white pants and all. And you can just see the stain. So Saban, this is Sarina says, Saban says, I gotta go change real fast. So he runs. This is where they see Saban running, and they see that, well, he just peed his pants, and of course they're like, what the fuck happened? Sarina says, Naruto, what did you do to him? I just wanted him to meet my partner in crime. And this is where Sarina says, I still don't get what you mean, partner in crime. Naruto says, oh, even if I show you, you'll probably get scared also. You'll probably think I was a demon or something. So where Sarina says, no, I'm not thinking you're a demon right now. She gets serious. And Naruto says, yeah, sure. Okay, so what do you want me to do in this clan compound or whatever? If it's not trying to murder your brother, then what do you want exactly? This is where Sarina's grandmother appears and says, hello there, young kid, or young boy. And of course, Naruto looks up and says, hello there. I'm guessing that you're Sarina's grandmother? And of course, this is where Sarina's grandmother nodded and says, come in. We're just about having, ready to have the food out and all that. So of course, Naruto just sitting at what's it called, the table next to Sarina, and also next to Sarina's father. For some reason, Sarina's father just keeps giving Naruto dirty looks. But of course, this is where Sarina's mother does like smack what's called him in the back of the head. And of course, this is where Naruto, he was ignoring the dirty looks because he already had those multiple times when he was younger, so he doesn't care. And even still during what's called when he became a ninja. But yeah, this is where, well, so after that happening, this is where it kind of stays silent and all that, kind of quiet. Of course, Saban is kind of, well, different color of pant and shirt and all that. And yeah, he just has different clothes and all that. Of course, this is where, well, Sarina's father goes, like, fucking dead serious and says, so, I heard you were trying to marry my daughter. This is where Sarina's, like, face turns into a bright blue color. Serena's mother and also grandmother. Well, mother kind of smacked him in the back of the head again, and then her grandmother then says, "You idiot! Don't fucking say that in front of your daughter." Now, not what he meant. And Naruto wasn't even blushing, he was just still stoic as hell. And he was just like, in his mind, saying, "Why am I here, Kurama?" Kurama says, "I have no clue. Why the hell you came?" "I don't know." That's where Naruto, he gets out of his mind escape and then says, yeah, what did you say? Sorry, I kind of just, didn't listen. What did he say or something? This is where, well, they said, "What the?" And this is where, well, he was about to say again until, well, Serena's mother decides to put ice over his mouth and shut him up. This is where, well, her grandmother, basically, Serena's grandmother says, "Don't listen to him, Naruto. You're too young to, well, know about marriage or anything like that." And Naruto says, "Marriage, marriage, marriage. What is marriage again?" This is where they say, "What do you mean?" Naruto says, "I'm an orphan. I don't know anything about clan marriages. And knowing that, well, my clan is not existing doesn't mean I don't need clan marriage or anything like that." This is where, well, Serena's grandmother says, "What do you mean non-existence? Wait, you are from a clan, exactly. Which one, the Uchiha?" Naruto says, "I'm not that cocky, arrogant Uchiha. I'm not that idiotic moron. I am from the Uzumaki, the Whirlpool country. And that's all I know about it. Also, being a part Namikaze might explain that also the other clan is non-existent." This is where, well, Serena's father goes, the eyes that he had in his mouth breaks and said, "What?" This is where Serena's grandfather also says, "What?" And even Saban says, "What?" Serena says, "Wait, Samaki, you did tell me about that Namikaze." Serena's father says, "Hold up, brat. You're the Namikaze's son." Naruto says, "Like I said, my clan is not existent. My two parents are dead. What do you want from me?" This is where Serena's father says, "So, you're Minato Namikaze's son?" "Yes." "Okay. You're also Kushina Uzumaki's son." And Naruto says, "I guess so." Now, of course, Kushina Uzumaki already met this clan. Like, this clan was sort of in the, what's it called? So, Kushina went to the land of snow, and this is where the clan actually kind of originated from. Now, of course, this is where the clan did kind of went to the Leaf Village, like 8 years after what's called Kushina kind of visited them and all that. But yeah, that's when they say you're Kushina's son. Naruto said, "Yeah." And they said, okay. This is where her father says, "Then I will allow you to marry my daughter." And so Serena is blushing like more. She's like, "What?" So both, what's it called? His wife and his grandmother, well, I mean, not grandmother, mother, smacks him in the back of the head. Now, of course, where, well, what's it called? Serena's like, what's it called? Parents are like, "What?" And of course, well, what's it called? Him says, "Oh, why did you hit me in the back of the head? You moron." They don't even know about that whole thing or anything like that. Serena says, Namikaze, isn't it Minato the fourth Hokage?" "Yeah." "And they probably won't like me even when I said I'm basically the nine-tailed Jinchuriki." This is where they said, "Okay, well, fuck. More surprises. Nice. Great." This is where Saban says, "Oh, is that how, because I met the nine-tails, he's gonna try to eat me? Do you want to meet him again?" This is where Saban says, No, I'm good. I am good." And this is where, well, basically the grandfather kind of goes in and says, "You met the nine-tails, Saban. How was he? I actually would like to meet him." Saban says, "Not great. He tried to eat me. He blew you away. You brought me to him. just to scare the shit of you for that one time you fucking made me fall into the fucking ground. You were 8 years old, you were fine. And I would murder you right now. Do you want to see the Nine Tails again? No! Naruto, shut up then. This is where, well, what's called? The grandmother says, then, that ability of technique, is that from the Namikaze or Uzumaki? Naruto says, no, that is from my late mentor who actually trained me when I was 8 years old. So yeah. Of course, is where they said, okay. So, techniques that no one else knows. Naruto says, yeah, pretty much. So, this is where they just kind of eating and talking. And of course, they're talking mostly about Kushina and how she was back then, blah, blah, blah. Naruto never really cared about how, well, his parents were back then. Because he didn't meet them and didn't really care because they basically sealed Kurama inside him. And made his life a little bit hell, but meeting Kurama, he kind of warmed up a little bit towards people, a little bit. Sairina was mostly someone that kind of started to make his heart kind of warm up. With that happening, Naruto just sees a little bit of Sairina in what's called the old man in Sairina. Basically, not his personality that much, but just a little bit. Because basically, the old man originated from a cold planet, and Sairina is basically from a clan that's from the Yuki clan and all that. Kinda just sees a little bit in her, whatever. But this is where Naruto just says, whatever. This is where Naruto just says, okay. And just nods and all that. This is where, well, it's late, it's dark, everyone's like going to sleep. This is where Naruto's actually leaving the clan district and all that. And this is where, well, Sairina says, wait, where are you going? This is where the clan did kind of prepare Naruto a bed and all that. Naruto says, I'm good, I'm just going back to the house. Well, my apartment or something like that. This is where Sairina says, then why, if you don't like the apartment, then why don't you just stay here for now? Naruto says, I can't. I don't really want to that much. So yeah. This is where Sairina says, please, Naruto? Naruto says, fine. So he stays into the clan district for one night and then done. Now we do a time skip about 15 days. Naruto kind of visits the clan district just a little bit like that. And of course trains Sairina in how to use her lightsaber. And even learn how to use the dark side. So she is going into the dark side, but her Kyber crystal is gonna be like that, the dark side. So she can actually use what's called not force lightning, but force ice. Now, this is just an OC that I'm just gonna make because, well, force lightning is for Naruto. But force ice allows her to kind of just use ice from her hands to freeze anybody. So yeah. Think of it like Todoroki to make like ice glaciers or something like that. But instead it'll be like ice kind of ore and all that to kind of freeze people or blah blah blah. Or stop them from saying anything. This is where we go into the, well, final exam. But this is where I'm going to leave it off. Have a nice potato day, potato nut, potato seed, potato potato. But yeah, potato potato. Is that all I want to mention? Yeah, potato potato. I don't know what time is it. Oh shit, it's 12. But yeah, how about potato potato day and potato? Potato.